Hello, it is July 29th and it is 12:07 p.m. First of all, I just want to start off by letting everyone know that I know they recently looked for pictures of mine where I didn't look autistic due to the June 24th brain savant test from last month coming out, and they're being forced to overanalyze it only due to the fact that there were genetic, people that they had were getting rejected by these girls that were coming after me so much that they had to overanalyze it out of the hope that artificial intelligence would say that my brain savant didn't exist or it was not as powerful or something of that sort of nature, when in fact that is not what happened. Obviously, they gambled over it despite them already having checked numerous times before, mid-May 2023, August 9, 2022, April 22nd, 2025, June 5th, 2025, November 14th, 2025, May 10th, 2026, June 24th, 2026. They gambled because they thought that this was the only option that they had. So basically, yeah, if you want to see, if you want to see what my face really looks like, you could check from the evidence and the data from the entire day of September 15th, 2025, when I went to go get my brake pads changed for my car. They changed my face color to being like how it was supposed to be like. And also June 6th, 2025, that is D-Day for last year, the morning time for that day. You could see what my face actually looks like on that day as well, except for that obviously my face is not going to look as it normally should, like how it is right now. It's not how it should, due to their tools that they're using out of extreme envy. So basically, before we even start the journal, something I have to let everyone know about is that this thing by Kelly from Law Enforcement has to stop. This is from yesterday, 1 p.m. Okay, the Maybelline ad trying to say that her hair is now straight. So basically yesterday afternoon, she tried to get me to agree to going with her at a hotel using my credit card. Now you got to look at the timing on both of these. One advertisement comes before the other. So this is yesterday in the afternoon, 1:26 p.m. and it is for a commercial for basically hotels, and then right afterwards it is for credit cards. Right afterwards, it basically saying that I should use my credit card to go with her at a hotel. Like, okay, 2 p.m. same thing. Kelly from Law Enforcement, she goes for basically the same thing, Kelly's Blue Book, and it is the Maybach, basically. Yeah, it's the Kelly's Blue Book Maybach right over there. Okay, that's supposed to be, I guess, me. Same thing when I'm watching a video of myself yesterday around 8 p.m. Kelly's Blue Book, Maybach. All right, and obviously yesterday at around 11 p.m., Miss Deb is advertising for her daughter again. Sam's Club is back. Yeah. So this is also from yesterday. Same thing, Kelly's Blue Book for that car that's supposed to represent me. So now that that is done and over with, we have to start with the main issue that I wanted to talk about today. And the main thing that I wanted to talk about today is basically Fur the Greedy Framer. Fur the Greedy Framer, basically, she just won't let me go. She just keeps running after me for her daughter. And every day or so, she just keeps doing it over and over again. So by now, she has sent me... So total, she sent me 71 requests for me to marry her daughter, out of which 70, since this is from June 16th, 70 of them are forced marriage requests. 70, that's 70. You know how they got 50, 60, 70? 70 requests for me to marry her daughter that are forced marriage requests only from June 16, 2025, last month. These people claim in court that I have the potential of becoming a bad person, that even that I'm aggressive, and in reality, outside of the courtroom, they're treating me literally like a duck. They're just like, come on, ducky, come on, come inside my cage so I could take you home. That's literally how they're treating me. Like, Since June 16th, just last month, today's July 29th, okay? Since June 16th, Fur the Greedy Framer has sent me 70 forced marriage requests for me to marry her daughter. Doesn't sound like someone you would be begging who you would think has the potential of becoming a bad person or even aggressive. Literally treating me like I'm some sort of a duck, and she's literally just going like, come on, ducky, come on, come inside my cage so I can lock you up and take you home. That's what she's treating me like. I'm not lying. On July 6th, I labeled her daughter marriage prenup scam as being a forced marriage prenup scam using blackmail, where Fur the Greedy Framer is trying to force me to marry her daughter, and forcing me to try to sign a prenup agreement with the same $60 million blackmail price tag that she sent me at least 8 times since February 21st. And I labeled this as a prenup marriage scamming blackmail. And even after that, after I labeled it as such on July 6th, this same month, July 6th, this same month, after I labeled it as such, she sent it to me 56 times. 56 times as a prenup marriage scamming blackmail, despite knowing that this is absolutely now labeled as being a prenup marriage scamming blackmail for the $60 million blackmail price tag that she sent me since February 21st, 2026. Courts have to look at some data and things of the certain nature that I am going to tell you right now, which is that Fur the Greedy Framer was not told about my brain savant from U.S. law enforcement. What ended up happening was she went to go get her daughter Ifra married, and when she went to go get her daughter Ifra married, same Indian government that she complained to about U.S. law enforcement to ended up telling her about my brain savant. Usually, when people get their kids married, they hope for their kids to be able to live off happily with their spouses. That was not the case for Farah. As soon as Farah comes back home, after getting her daughter married, Ifra, as soon as she comes back home, the first thing she does is she tells law enforcement to check to see what the chances of me marrying that daughter of hers are. And it's just a very strange behavior. You just had your daughter married, and now you're asking law enforcement to check to see what the chances are of me marrying your daughter are. And the weird thing is, law enforcement in the U.S. did not inform her about my brain savant, which clearly means that when she went back home to get her daughter married, Indian government told her about my brain savant. So yeah. That is pretty much what happened. And as soon as she comes back, she tells U.S. law enforcement to start putting up Shah Rukh Khan with Angelina Jolie to check to see what the chances of her daughter being married to me were. So yeah, that is something that I had to go ahead and let people in the court know about, that the Indian government basically told her about my brain savant, which is why she's been obsessed over me ever since. So basically, there are certain things that we need to know about Fur the Greedy Framer. The first thing is that she is really good at creating mass panic and chaos. So before we even get started with that, this is what she sent me this morning. Basically, that's supposed to be her and her 2 daughters that she wants me to get married to, except her daughters are extremely ugly and I'm not interested in them. They don't look anything like that. But she still wants me to marry her daughter. Now, the thing about Fur the Greedy Framer is that the fact that Fur the Greedy Framer is very good at creating mass panic and chaos through false testimonies. We know this for a fact due to the fact that in 2019, Farah the Greedy Framer almost had the entire U.S. law enforcement kicked out of Pakistan. She literally almost had everyone kicked out of that country. She created so much mass panic and chaos, informing the Indian government that she was about to get raped and murdered by someone in law enforcement from this very team, by the way, that U.S. law enforcement from that country was about to get kicked out permanently. And every single news anchor from that country at that time was against U.S. law enforcement. They were all against U.S. law enforcement. They all wanted U.S. law enforcement out of that country for good. Every single news agency from that country wanted U.S. law enforcement kicked out of that country for good due to the scathing police report that Farah the Greedy Framer made against a member of this very team, the person who gets the monthly money every single month till the government ended it. That same person is the person from this very team that that Farah the Greedy Framer made the scathing police report against. She made such a scathing police report that every single news agency in that country at that time was against U.S. law enforcement. U.S. law enforcement was basically kicked out of that country almost due to Farah the Greedy Framer and the mass panic and chaos that she was creating in that country. U.S. law enforcement was almost kicked out of that country because of one person, that is Farah the Greedy Framer. You have to understand the magnitude of this statement. The entire U.S. law enforcement is about to get kicked out of that country due to one person, and that is Farah the Greedy Framer. That is how good she is at creating mass panic and chaos in a country using false testimonies. How do we know that this testimony is false? For one thing, we know for a fact that this testimony is false because Farah the Greedy Framer just admitted it right now. She called these people patriotic and good men, clearly showing that even if they're not patriotic and good men running sex schemes and money fraud, even if they're not, they're definitely not the magnitude of the scathing police report that she made against people in U.S. law enforcement. Now, we know other things about Farah the Greedy Framer, the fact that person in law enforcement, U.S. law enforcement, that she made the scathing police report against was only due to the fact that she suddenly just stopped sleeping with him after she found out that he was not worth what she thought that he was worth. He was worth a lot less. And so we all know this. That was the reason why, which is why he's the one that gets the money every month. He did until 2 months ago. So basically, he's the person in the law enforcement team who gets the money every month, who used to till 2 months ago. So basically, Farah the Greedy Framer, basically she suddenly just stopped sleeping with him. Now, the thing about her is he would get pissed off, like, you just found out that I'm really poor and you just stopped sleeping with me all of a sudden, and you're sleeping with everyone else in town. And we know that she's like this, and her own brother, my dad the Greedy Framer, thinks of her as being indispensable, due to which my dad the Greedy Framer even offers his own sister as incest, where he would ask me on February 11th at 3:17 a.m. to sleep with his own sister by sending me a porn star named Sunny Leone's picture with his own sister's name attached to the bottom, to ask me if I was willing to sleep with his own sister or not. And law enforcement courts tell him, like, sir, this is an open advertisement for incest. Incest is illegal in this country. So on March 7, 2026, he sends it again to me 3 times to try to check to see what the chances of me committing incest with his own sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, are in exchange for illegal assurances of money. We know that this is what was going on. Since on 3 days after March 7, on March 10, and every single day afterwards, my dad, the Greedy Framer, is sending me sexually explicit pictures of his other sister, big fat ugly old Afreen, the Greedy Framer, every single day on March 10 and afterwards. So my dad, the Greedy Framer, basically thinks of his own sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, as being indispensable. He could just grab her, throw her at someone, and be like, give me money for, we know for a fact this was about money, because he was just caught on February 10th fabricating lies against me, and the court just told him, these lies, sir, your sister, your Framer sister, Ibrahim's envious mother, has already confessed that these are lies. And so he just throws his sister at me, like, are you going to sleep with her in exchange for illegal assurances of money? We know it was for illegal assurances of money because only a week afterwards, on February 17 at 3:02 a.m., the psychopath starts sending me blackmail price tags of millions of euros, including one that he really liked, which was like 8.9 million euros. And I was just like, this is definitely not happening. I'm not giving anyone any illegal assurances of any money. I just want to be left alone. So basically, yeah, her own brother, my dad, the greedy framer, thinks of her as being indispensable. He just throws her wherever he thinks that he could get money out of, including at me, asking me through law enforcement if I was willing to commit incest with his sister because he was caught with so many lies against me, and he knew that I knew that he had been making lies against me only to lock up my brain savant so that no one could get the money that he knew that he doesn't deserve a single penny of, which was my brain savant money, same money that his greedy framer sister Farah was running after getting her daughter married. Ifra, she gets her daughter married, and the first thing she does after coming back home is ask law enforcement what the chances of me marrying her daughter are. And it's just like, lady, how many husbands is your daughter supposed to have? Because you literally just got back home from having your daughter married, and now you're asking law enforcement what the chances of me marrying her daughter were. And obviously law enforcement must have thought to themselves as well, we didn't tell her about Ihsan's brain savant. How does she know? They added 1 plus 1 together, and they found out that Indian government basically told her. And I know for a fact law enforcement found out about that because they put on my newsfeed, it said the most hated government in the world. It said Indian government on there, and the only reason they did that was because they found out that Indian government basically told her about my brain savant. Now, the thing about Farah the Greedy Framer is she made a scathing police report against a member of this very law enforcement team, whom she now says is very patriotic and good men. Now, the thing about it is, whether they're patriotic and good men or not is a separate question. But if she's calling them patriotic and good men, one thing we can rest assured on is the fact that the scathing police report that she made, due to which law enforcement in that country was almost kicked out. Now, if you look at news agencies in that country at that time, you would find out that Farah the Greedy Framer created so much mass panic and chaos against a member of U.S. law enforcement, same person who receives the money every month, so much mass panic and chaos against him that basically entire U.S. law enforcement was almost kicked out of that country because of one person, and that is Farah the Greedy Framer and her false testimonies. Even though the same woman, her brother, thinks of her as being indispensable for basically money in exchange for sex. Whenever he gets caught lying, first thing he does is he offers his own sister for incest in exchange for illegal assurances of money, and we know this for a fact because he would also send me price tags of millions of euros along with it, along with incest requests, saying basically asking for forgiveness and saying I got caught lying against you to enviously lock up your brain savant, but why don't you sleep with my sister and commit incest with her, and in exchange give me illegal assurances of money. Yeah. Except for that, we also know for a fact that Farah the Greedy Framer was literally sleeping with everyone in town at that time, and then she just suddenly stopped sleeping with the person in U.S. law enforcement. And the facts and evidences will also show that there was a real estate agent that she used to talk to every single night before going to sleep, and everyone in town knew that, and that a real estate agent would basically provide her with places that she could go to where she could sleep with different men every single day. So this was her behavior, and everyone in town knew about it. And literally, this was her behavior. And one day, suddenly, she tells the person in U.S. law enforcement, and she says, "I'm not going to sleep with you anymore because I found out you're poor." And so what ended up happening was, the person obviously tries to run after her, saying, "You're sleeping with everyone in town. Why not me?" Just all of a sudden sort of thing. And she files a very scathing police report against him that almost got the entire U.S. law enforcement kicked out of that country for good. She's an extremely greedy person. Very envious and very greedy. I'm sick and tired of all the marriage requests from her for her daughters. I don't usually go into people's personal lives and what they've been doing and what they haven't, but the facts and evidences will show that she did talk to the person in the U.S. in real estate. His name was Ijaz, and she used to talk to him every single night before going to sleep. everyone in town knew about it, and he would provide her with different places where she would actually go and sleep with different men every single day. Yeah, not just that, her brother thinks of her as being indispensable for sex, due to which her brother would literally offer her for incest every single time he gets caught lying, like almost as if this is like something normal or something. You know, it's like February 11th, 3:17 a.m. Her psychotic brother offers her for incest at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I just like it was already enough. Like, I saw the text at 12:22 a.m. that night. I was watching TV. I look at my phone and it says, "So nice to hear from you after so long." And the only hearing we were having on February 10th was on court. In court, not very nice. Not very nice. I was telling the court that this man is a psychotic, pathological liar, and he was saying that no, I have some more crimes to tell about Hassan, only to lock up my brain savant, so my mother and no one else could get the money he couldn't get. And then at 3:17 a.m., when I see that ad for his sister with the porn star's picture with his sister's name on it, I was like, you just had to like let me know that you just got caught lying, didn't you? So basically, she was told by U.S. courts that this is considered illegal in the country. You cannot offer incest in exchange for illegal assurance of money. And we knew that this was for money because on February 17, 3:02 a.m., government told him that brain savant getting freed is inevitable. So you better make your list for Santa Claus. Well, they didn't say that, but all they said was brain savant getting freed is inevitable. And he literally made a list like he's a kid making it for a Santa Claus. In that list, he's got all these things like an 8.9 million euro mansion and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not paying that. But I just looked at that. I was like, well, thank you very much for letting us know finally. Because on February 2nd, when I talked to him and he forced me to call him February 2nd, I was hoping the entire conversation he's going to ask me for money so I could tell the courts, see, he knew about my brain savant. And he was hoping the entire time that I would offer him money without him even having to ask, due to which he was doing things like using my baby name, trying to sweet talk me the entire time. I hung up the phone and I typed in my laptop right away that my dad, the greedy framer, on February 2nd, after sweet talking me the entire phone conversation, called the courts in a rage of anger. How did I know that? I'm not psychic. How did I know that he's going to hang up the phone after sweet talking me the entire phone conversation, entire way he's sweet talking me the entire phone conversation? He hangs up and he calls the court in a rage of anger. How did I know that? I'm not psychic. I knew that because I knew for a fact he was only sweet talking me because I knew that he found out about my brain savant and he wanted illegal assurance of money from it. Obviously, in the year 2025, he was running after me every single day, trying to call and message me. And my mother raised me to be a very polite individual. So I was not rude in any way. I just started ignoring him, mainly because we talk once every 5 years and this man is calling me every day. Obviously, he found out about my brain savant and now he wants the money. And obviously, like, that's what he would do. He'd be like, come over to my house, come over to my house, come over to my house. And then like the next day, come over to my house. Well, so obviously he knew about my brain savant. It was extremely annoying and irritating. Like, a person who calls you once every 5 years is now calling you every single day, basically harassing you. So I started ignoring his phone call, and obviously he's not going to beg the son of the woman he used to beat up every single day. I know his psychology. He's very psychotic and aggressive. He will never do that. And so, but after June 28th, he had to, because there's too much money involved and he doesn't want to be left out of it. Basically, brain savant money that artificial intelligence has predicted that his sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, was told about when she was getting her daughter married by the Indian government, basically. She was never told by U.S. law enforcement. And the weird thing is, she comes back after getting her daughter married, and instead of wanting her daughter and her daughter's spouse being happily married, she's already looking for a husband for her, which was very strange behavior. She comes back home. She's not been told about my brain savant by U.S. law enforcement. And as soon as she comes back home, first thing she tells U.S. law enforcement is, check the chances of Hassan marrying my daughter. And they're just like, why? You just had your daughter married, literally right now. He just came back home, and she has like Angelina Jolie with Shah Rukh Khan put on my YouTube all day long to check the chances, mainly because the Indian government had informed her while she was back there that I had an extremely rare and profitable brain savant, and now she got greedy. So that is what happened. But the thing about Farah the Greedy Framer is, you have to understand the fact that she's extremely good at making false testimonies, fabrications. She almost had U.S. law enforcement kicked out of that country for good. Now, she is the kind of person who would literally sleep with everyone in town. And that is on a literal meaning, not figurative at all. Yeah. So basically, she would talk to a real estate agent. You can check the facts and evidences on this. Every single night before going to sleep, she would talk to him, and he would provide her with places where she could go sleep with different men. And she just suddenly stopped sleeping with the person in U.S. law enforcement, the same person who gets the money every single month, till about 2 months ago, due to which he got really annoyed. Like, you only stopped because you found out that I was poor. And she goes and she makes such a scathing police report that literally every single news agency in that country at that time went against her. She basically used national security as her own personal agenda, for her own personal motive. What she basically said was, these people in U.S. law enforcement are in your country right now. They're raping and murdering your woman, and this is what's going on because you guys let people from U.S. law enforcement into your country. This is what she said in the police report. What she basically said in the police report was, overseas, okay, in Pakistan at that time, she went and she filed a police report. In that police report, she claimed national security, and what she said was, you guys, your government, is letting people from U.S. law enforcement into your country, and what they're doing is they are raping and murdering your woman, and this is what's going on in your country, and it's because you guys are letting U.S. law enforcement into your country. This is a national security risk for your country. You are creating this national security risk in your country by letting people from U.S. law enforcement come into your country. These people from U.S. law enforcement are basically raping and murdering your woman over here. And it looked really real due to the person from U.S. law enforcement actually running after her. But the thing that they didn't know was, before the police report was filed, she was sleeping with him just fine. And as soon as she finds out that this guy was a poor guy, which is why I know he's the person receiving the money every month, till about 2 months ago, from this very law enforcement team, she stopped sleeping with him. And then she goes and she makes a scathing police report claiming national security risk for that country, saying that letting U.S. law enforcement into your country is a national security risk for your country because these people in U.S. law enforcement are raping and murdering your woman, and here is a police report I'm filing. What she didn't say in the police report was the fact that she was sleeping with this man every single day before the police report, till she found out that he was actually a poor guy and not the big shot that he claimed he was. And she claimed national security to the point, if you look at the news agencies at that time, around 2019, in that country at that time, it was literally like the news agencies in the U.S. after November 20th, 2025. Except the only, and we know for a fact, Farah the Greedy Framer was involved in November 20th because she was kicked out of the spokesperson stand immediately as soon as it was announced that there was a government informant involved. It was literally the entire country, Pakistan's news agencies at that time in 2019 looked exactly like how the news agencies in the country, US, looked after November 20th, 2025. No one could smile on live TV because of this scathing police report in that country. And the news agencies in Pakistan said she is right. She is right. And the government in that country obviously wasn't against U.S. law enforcement because they have like a partnership. But the country, the entire country's news agencies at that time were saying that Farah the Greedy Framer is absolutely right, and that U.S. law enforcement should be kicked out of that country because they are running after women in that country, trying to rape and murder them. Due to one person, Farah the Greedy Framer, raising national security risk against U.S. law enforcement in 2019, this is what was about to happen. U.S. law enforcement was permanently about to be kicked out of that country because of one person, and that is Farah the Greedy Framer. every single news agency in that country in 2019 were all against U.S. law enforcement. Every single one of them wanted U.S. law enforcement kicked out of that country because of one person's scathing police report against one person in U.S. law enforcement. And we know for a fact Farah the Greedy Framer fully exaggerated and fabricated that false testimony due to two main reasons. One is due to the fact that she's calling them patriotic and good men right now. Whether they are or not is a separate story. But the fact of the matter is, the police report definitely did not have to be that harsh or scathing at that time. And the second reason, obviously, is the fact that she was sleeping with the person that she claimed this about before she claimed this. And she basically found out that this person is poor, didn't want to sleep with him anymore. And so he continued to run after her, due to which every single news agency in that country at that time wanted U.S. law enforcement out of their country at that time because of one person, Farah the Greedy Framer's false testimony at that time, exaggerated testimony at that time. Almost, she raised national security concerns in that country against U.S. law enforcement. And right now she is trying to she's trying to make me look like a bad person in court, only because of hatred against me for not wanting to marry her ugly looking abnormal daughters that I've already told her I have no interest in marrying. Yeah. So we know this for a fact because since June 16th, she sent it to me, forced marriage requests. So total is 71, but forced marriage requests since after I told her the very first time, I was like, look, I don't want to receive any more requests from your daughter. I don't want to marry her. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. She sent it to me 70 times, 70 since June 16th. Okay. 56 are confirmed prenup marriage scamming blackmails. Okay, and yeah, this woman who dresses up like a nun would basically, so I received it today as well, obviously. I didn't go on YouTube, all day yesterday, so she had it put on my TV screen, big, nice and big, today, this morning, July 29th, at 6:28 a.m. She put it nice and big on my TV screen through law enforcement. Even she's advertising two of her daughters to me, even though both of her daughters are extremely ugly, and I already told her that I'm not interested in them. I do not want your daughters. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. They're not my type. They don't look anything like those girls over there. And I told her since June 16th, I said, look, lady, I don't want your daughters. I'm not the kind of person who would get into someone's personal businesses, what they've been doing, what they haven't been doing. Fact of the matter is, I couldn't care less. But she wouldn't let me go. Like I told her a billion times. It's been 70 times since last month, 70, and I begged the courts, like, please, sir, ma'am, told law enforcement to stop sending me these requests for her daughter. Like, I understand she's aggressively arguing against me in court, and it's already making her look bad, considering the fact that she's already made billions of lies against me already. But these every single day, like these requests to marry her daughter, are extremely annoying. I don't want this. I said I don't want it. I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. I said no the first time. And despite me saying no, like 70 times is a little too much. 70, that's 70 in 1 month since June 16th. 70 forced marriage requests, out of which 56 are literally confirmed prenups, marriage scamming, blackmail. She knows her daughters are ugly. I'm not into them. I don't want them. One of the two that she's trying to get me married to is obviously divorced. Like, I'm not like into them. I don't want them. Like, I told her, like, lady, thank you very much for asking. I'm good. Like, I told her a billion times, like, I'm good. I'm not the kind of person who would get into someone's personal business, but yeah, I told her straight out. I was like, I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. But this is like, let me show you the kind of ways that she would actually advertise her ugly looking daughters to try to sexually seduce me. Like, this is like, you have to remember the fact that this woman dresses up like a nun. And like, this is how she's advertising her daughters to me. I'm just like, what do I look like, a pervert to you? Like, I'm sitting around at home, like, trying to look for a woman all day or something. Like, seriously, I literally am just trying to use my brain savant, which is what I'm going to make my next video on, is going to be about my brain savant. But I had to let everyone know about For the Greedy Framer first. Say thank